Well, good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house, and happy election day. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. So let's get open for business and let's wake up the football gods here. Wake up. And I am glad to report that my wife, Michael, we've already been through and we have exercised our right to vote. Understand, I don't care who you vote for, but people have sacrificed and put their lives on the line, some of which have lost their lives, so that way you have the right to vote. Honor them by using that right. And I know it's a pain in the ass. You got to wait in line. You're out in the weather. You might have to leave work. But listen, that's minor in comparison of what it took for us to get here. So be sure to vote today. And also today is a big day in the NFL, which used to not really be a big day because usually you didn't have very many trades during the season. Although things have kind of changed a little bit, teams are jockeying for positions. Heck, we actually made a trade last week, trading Everson Griffin to the Detroit Lions for a fifth possible pick, possibly sixth. So, unfortunately, something that I'm not a big fan of, even though I do have a fantasy team. And I need to talk to my GM because I'm trying to understand how the hell did I have Carson Wentz on my team? I'm just GM. You got to come to my office. You got some splaining to do. I told you. See this is what stinks about fantasy football. This is like kissing your sister. Ain't no way in God's green earth that I want to have some Eagle stank, even if it means winning, on my team. I just don't want that. I just don't want that. And I believe I lost because of Carson Wentz. I just, GM, yeah, sit down. Sit down, GM. We got to talk. We got a long talk, Sal. But in all seriousness, though, thank you, Sal, for doing all the work that you're doing. But when have any of these Eagle players performed for me? They haven't. They stink. So, fantasy football has ruined people's concept of what reality is. People think that, oh, just trade this guy. Oh, trade this guy. Man, we can instantly be better if we just trade this guy. It doesn't work that way. Stephen Jones, of course, said, well, we like our core group of guys. We're not going to be looking to make any big moves or anything like that. And that's one way of sugarcoating it. Okay. I'm beginning to notice that Stephen Jones, who used to be kind of a straight shooter, is getting more Jerry-esque. He's kind of, trying to give you that, make everything rosy, like he said, we like Terrence Steele's length and things and the things that he's doing. We're happy with him. You mean the guy who ended up having 7 pressures and 3 sacks on Sunday? Yeah. Yeah. Don't lie to us, man. Come on. Just tell it like it. Or maybe it was a confidence builder for Terrence Steele to try and make him feel. I don't know what it is, but it was it was some crap. Okay. But the reality is to make a trade, you have to have something of value that somebody else wants. They look at and say, I can do big things with it. And if you don't, you're not going to be able to trade them. Here's the problem. I'm not saying that D-Law isn't a good player and that teams wouldn't want him, but your contracts make it impossible to move. Either you're going to take on major dead money in order to move him, kind of like the Giants had to get rid of Odell Beckham, where they had an $18 million cap hit, or the other team has to take on that salary. And other teams look at it and say, we don't want that. D-Law's contract next year is $25 million, the next year $27 million, the next year $29 million. And if you release him, there's so much dead money that it destroys you. The same thing with Amari Cooper. Oh, trade Amari Cooper. Well, he's got a $20 million cap hit this year and next year. People aren't going to take on that salary. Now, at least there is some good news as far as Amari Cooper's deal goes, is it's really this year and next year. After next year, if you decide we're going to move on, no major pains in letting him go. We used to have that with D-Law, where next year would be the pain-free breakup. But because we restructured that contract, we kicked it down the road. and the same thing with Tyron Smith. So when you start thinking about trades, a team looking at those contracts, we don't want that. And then, of course, we always have people say, oh, well, trade, he's a bum. Trade him. Okay. If you think a guy is a bum, if you think the guy can't play, why do you think that somebody's going to give you something of value for somebody who doesn't play well? You follow me? You have to look at the guy and say he can play, he's going to be cost effective, and we can do something with him. And the Dallas Cowboys, with the exception of Mari Cooper, have not had a lot of great success in recent history with trades. You can look at the Joey Galloway, where we traded 2 number ones for that guy. He played 1 game before tearing his ACL, played 1 more year, and he was gone. We gave up a first and I think a third for Roy Williams. Yeah, that didn't work. It just didn't work. And even with free agent signings, for the most part, they have not been pieces that have worked in recent history. Now, you can go back to the Jimmy Johnson era and things like that and look at it and say, well, you signed Charles Haley as a free agent. True. And we did sign Aldon Smith this year. True. But you look at the wake of all of these players that we've recently realized these dogs don't hunt, that we've literally just gotten rid of and we've spent a boatload of money on. The reality is the way you build the team, and the thing that the Dallas Cowboys have been good at is actually finding homegrown talent in the draft. Not by trading up, because Morris Claiborne, that was no, that was a no-no. But in the draft. Thing that's going to be interesting is after last night, this was a good one. This was a good one. I read an article this morning. Danny Dimes is turned into Danny Dollar Store. Danny Dollar Store. And they had a chance last night. The team, you have to actually look at the team, and with Jason Garrett there, that team is competing. They are competing. They went toe-to-toe with New England, and, they were a late throw from Danny Dollar Store at getting a 2-point conversion to tie it. And you have to look at that and say, you're 2 years in, and Danny Dollar has literally had at least a turnover per game. And it's not quite there. But the one thing I will have to say is I got to give credit to the team is competitive. They just have not learned how to win. And that's without having great talent and losing their bellwether back and a quarterback that turns over the ball. You can honestly say that the Giants, they had a lead against the Eagles and should have won that. We had to come from behind, didn't we, against the Giants? And you look at them and say, they're not that far away. If they had Barkley right now, that would help that team out. If they were ever able to draft a little bit better, that team is ready to take off. And we may look back and say, damn, we let go of Jason Garrett too soon. Jason Garrett is getting success. And it may be that Jason Garrett needed a change of scenery. Dealing with the Cowboys faithful and the microscope that and the pressure cooker that is the Dallas Cowboys, and dealing with Jerry Jones and crew, we see it's difficult. We've changed coaches over and over again, from Jerry Jones to Mike McCarthy, Bill Parcells, Chan Gailey, and Barry Switzer and stuff, and we kind of get the same results with these guys. At some point, you got to start looking and saying, we've changed players, we've changed coaches. What we haven't changed is the front office. But here we are, 4 o'clock today is the trade deadline, and it is 8:30 right now. So 7.5 hours. Don't expect the Dallas Cowboys to make any major moves. The die is cast on this season. We have what we have, and we're really playing for next year. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you have a great day. And please get out there and vote. I'll see you soon.